Hello. This is the earliest we've ever started the 130 class, 131. It's never happened. Very palindromic. I'm Grandmaster Ben Finegold, and you're not. As I was just called on Twitch, the world's weakest and lowest rated Grandmaster. Rawr! And then Ginger Jim's like, excuse me, I'm here too. So, yeah, the truth hurts. Today we'll talk about the candidates, obviously. The candidates started on March 10th, which you all knew. And you all know what March 9th is.
The day before the candidates.
Yeah. Also, whose birthday?
Ben Finegold.
Bobby Fischer, March 9th, 1943. My birthday is at 9/6. Come on, you're supposed to know that. Okay, and March 10th and March 11th, our last class for you guys, although you weren't here, was March 11th. So I got rid of those games. So these are all the games that the candidates played between Monday and now. And in fact, these games here, this is right now. So this game ended in 16 moves, which was funny. And these games are ongoing. So they might be over like when the lecture ends. Okay, so the most famous game of the candidates is probably Aronian Kramnik, but I said probably, because there's some, yeah. Now, as you all know, the players have complained ad nauseum about the nauseum conditions. Yeah, the toilets are suspicious. I've played in Europe, I've played in the UAE, I understand. And also, there's like a TV with analysis by the people who are doing analysis, and they can see that and hear that too. And then, supposedly they fixed everything. Yeah, also Kramnik's like, can we have a clock in here? Like a real clock, so they can see what time it was. The playing hall is very weird. It's very strangely set up. Okay, it's dark and weird. You know, it's Germany. So, yeah. Okay, because when they're not playing chess there, it's dark and weird for no other reason. You know, it's Germany. So, okay. Yeah, that joke was not so good. All right, now Aronian Kramnik, very famous game, and there was a good joke about this game. Okay, as you all know, that means they don't know it. Who is Kramnik's coach second at this tournament?
Geary.
Anish Geary, and Geary's known for drawing all of his games. And in fact, in the candidates, either last time or 2 times ago, I forgot. I think it was 2 times ago. There was 14 rounds like this one, and he had 14 draws. Yeah, so they make fun of Geary a lot. He makes fun of himself too. Anyway, so Kramnik, who's sort of a boring player who wins a lot of technical end games, like Carlsen, he has Geary as his coach. In this game, he plays the craziest, wildest sacrificial game ever and wins brilliantly. And they're like, oh, that's because Geary's his coach. Making fun of Geary. Okay, now, they were like, wow, look at this great novelty that Geary gave him. And Kramnik's like, I prepared this novelty years ago. So, okay, so they played the Berlin, which is very strange because Aronian almost never plays e4. Almost never. So it's weird for Levon to play e4. He played d3. If you're going to beat the Berlin, you have to play d3. I've been saying that for years. Finally, the players are listening. The line where you castle and black
Takes.
You guys know the line.
Yeah.
That means they don't know the line.
D4.
Yeah. So this is every game ever played ever.
The queens come on.
Okay. And this will surprise you. If I push reference, it'll be like 1 trillion games. And they're all draws. And you're like, I don't believe either one of those statements. I can prove it by clicking this. You want to test me? Yeah. And you'll be like, draw, draw, draw. See? No, those are the weak players. Draw, 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 draw. It's still thinking, by the way. It's confused. It'll never stop thinking. Okay, H3 is the hot move. What world am I in? Okay, and then we push Elo white, and then you see draw, 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 draw. Okay, lots of draws. Okay, so 80% draws or 90%. Now I pushed that white was the highest rated player. If I click black's the higher rated player, okay, then black's winning occasionally, unlike before. So Carlsen, you see, is black a lot, right? And he lost a game and he won 2 games. Probably the game he lost was a blitz game. And also Carlsen's white. Although I can't find Carlsen being white, but he is. I guarantee it. Yeah, in fact, I just saw it and then I lost it. There he is, Carlsen Aronian. Okay, Aronian plays with black, but he doesn't play with white. In fact, I would be surprised if we see Aronian's name with white. I don't see it, do you? Aronian doesn't have white and he doesn't play e4. Yeah. So Aronian's not white, so it's weird. Okay, and as you can see, there's like 5,000 games from this position. And this was introduced in what match? I mean, when I say introduced, I mean so that all the GMs played it. No, nobody. Okay, so as you all know, Kasparov, Kramnik, 2000. Kramnik put Joël Lautier, your favorite player, in charge of the Berlin. Lautier, who's a French player who retired because he works for a billionaire now, so he decided that was better. He retired like at 30 because he works, and he owns companies in Russia and France. He's a French player. He beat Kasparov twice with black, Lautier. He was the best player in France, and he was offered a lot of money to do something else, so he did that. And so he quit chess, so you never heard of him. But anyway, there was a very long article in New in Chess about 6 months ago talking about him and his new businesses and the fact that he prepared the Berlin for Kramnik, and he hated it because Lautier plays insane. So he's like, you got to prepare this to a draw. So he did. Kramnik drew every game in the match with the Berlin, and he won the match and became the world champion. If you understand what I'm saying, because at that point, FIDE said, you guys aren't the world champions anymore. And then who they said was world champion didn't make any sense. And you know how that started, right? Nothing? Okay, so as you all know, in the candidates matches, the final match was Short Karpov. Short won that match, which doesn't make any sense, but that happened. So then Short plays Kasparov for the world championship. And FIDE said, you're going to play here, and here's the prize fund. And Short and Kasparov said, no, we're going to play here, and this is the prize fund, because they got some sponsors. And FIDE said, no. And they said, well, you can say no, but that's what we're doing. And FIDE said, if you do that, it's not the world championship. And they said, well, I'm the world champion. He's my challenger, so it's the world championship. So they played their match. Kasparov won. And FIDE said that match doesn't count. And the world champion is now Karpov, like out of nowhere. And then they had matches and tournaments with all these fake world champions. Okay. Eventually, Anand and Kramnik and Topalov were the world champions, and there was a match, and then there's one world champion. Eventually they reconciled. Okay. So Kramnik introduced this, and he was drawing every game with black, and everybody started playing it. Before that, two American grandmasters you've never heard of. Well, you heard of Arthur Bisguyer. Not that you have, but they have, right? Arthur Bisguyer. He just died like 6 months ago, maybe. Anyway, Bisguyer in the 1950s and 60s and 70s only played the Berlin. And Alex Scherzer, another American grandmaster, also only played the Berlin. But they're not Kramnik. So when Kramnik played, they said, oh, okay, well, now we can play it. Okay. Anyway, I think this is nothing for White, and D3 is the way to go. I agree. Although White got checkmated this game, so maybe I'm wrong. Okay. And I don't play Bishop C5 myself. I play D6. Bishop C5 is more common. Okay. And in this position, Kramnik played a novelty he's been waiting years to play. This looks very boring, because it is. And usually black castles, and sometimes black can even castle queenside and play interesting. In this position, if you played this move, I would yell at you.
H5.
Much crazier than H5. H5, I would also yell at you. H5 is bad because Bishop G5. Rook G8. Now, I've done this twice in tournaments, and I have 1.5 out of 2. Okay, and when Yasser saw it, I almost put him in the hospital. Yasser's like, what? And then he's like, oh, I like that. But he was like half kidding. Let me show you what I've done twice in tournaments. I've done it. You can't say I didn't do it because I did it twice. Okay, I've had White in this position twice in rated tournaments. These are against players over 2,300. One was Darwin Yang, who has the same rating as me, and one's Angelo Young, who's an IM who's lower rated than me. What move did I play here based on the previous conversation? It's White's move, by the way.
This could be Rook G1.
You bet I played Rook G1. Yeah, I played Rook G1 here twice, and I have 1.5 out of 2. Okay, and this is serious tournament games. Okay.
What's the rationale behind it?
It's because I'm showing you a game where black played. Yeah, I'm gonna go here.
And have that rook.
Now, one game I did go here. Okay. Now here's what's funny. In the Darwin Yang game, Darwin played like knight E8 and bishop F6. It was a very strange game. Very strange. That was a quick draw, actually. Okay. Yasser and I analyzed this for a long time. He was like, Rook G1, what? Okay. Anyway, I made that up because I have original thoughts. Okay, Kramnik stole all of my ideas. And in this position, Kramnik played Rook G8. I can't believe it. with, obvious.
You know he studied your game.
Yeah, obvious. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, last year, who did I beat? You're my wife. Who did I beat last year?
Irina.
Mamedyarov?
What?
Well, Mamedyarov, you beat a lot of people. Irina.
Well, I like that. I beat a lot of people. I like that. Yeah, obviously Mamedyarov. Yeah,
Oh.
right. Who's playing in this tournament? Who's the highest rated player? Who's the highest rated player in this tournament? Mamedyarov. So Kramnik probably doesn't know my game with Mamedyarov. I beat him. So he's like, all right. And then he's like, I'm not playing that opening Ben played. That was terrible. That's what he said. Okay, so rawr, etc. Mainly etc. Now you guys are like, that won't work. His opponent's 2,800. That worked great. Okay, so white played king h1, getting out of the way of the rook and the bishop. So black resigned. No, okay. Knight h5. Can't play g5 now because there's two pieces here. So here. Now the knight's coming, the pawn's coming, etc. c3 to play d4. Knight takes, discovered attack on the knight. Right? You agree? Yeah. g4. Black's pretty set on attacking the king. d4. Now let's look at a funny variation that I've shown many times. I just like the variation. Okay, what move wins immediately here for black? After this move, you can't stop mate in 1. That's a good move. Recommended by me.
Knight to g3.
Knight to g3. Then queen h1 is unstoppable. So that would be good for black. White has good development. Now, if I may I? Now, Raj doesn't want to hear this. I'm a big Morphy fan. Morphy's the best. Computer people are like, 2,300. When Morphy ran over people, they were like, his opponents are terrible. Okay, when Anand runs over Aronian, and when Kramnik runs over Aronian, they just run him over. They're like, that's a great game. When Morphy runs him over, those guys are no good. Okay, this looks like Doofus Morphy. It looks exactly like Doofus Morphy. Okay, so Aronian's like, I'm no doofus. I'm 2,800.
You gotta put the little red markers on the back rank pieces that never moved.
That's right, yeah. Okay, so he played d4, bishop back, and he played g3 to save his king or something. Not sure if that did a good job. Okay, now every kid I've ever taught in my life would play queen takes queen here. It's a requirement. If you can legally take something, they do. Maybe they'll play knight g3, that's also taking something. Okay, but my students always retreat. So queen e7. We have to save the queen so we can mate you. h4, blocking up the whole king side. c5, bishop e6, c6, and now we have to open the king side. So he played, got to open the king side.
Knight takes g3.
Well, that just loses a knight. You got to open that up. Rawr, rawr.
f5.
Now you're talking. See, if this was Doofus Morphy, they would say, he moved his queen a lot, terrible defense. That's what they would say. When it's Aronian, they're like, Kramnik's a genius. Okay, bishop g5 attacking the queen. Now, if you watch my streams, you didn't know I had a stream. You don't watch my streams, but you know they exist.
I watch my YouTube.
You watch my streams.
That's what I do.
You don't know what my streams are. You.
Yes, I do.
I know. You. What's the rule of my stream? You have to follow the rule here. I have a rule. There's only one move black can make and follow my rule. And when I beat Eric Rosen, I said, this is a terrible move, but it's my rule, and I played it. And I won. What's my rule on this stream? You have to do it.
I'm always sack.
Sack what? Particular kind of sack. You have to sag the exchange. You have to. So when I played Eric Rosen yesterday, I sacked the exchange because I legally could, but it wasn't good. But I had to because that's the rule, and I won.
The rook takes g5.
Yeah,
I didn't know that was a rule.
That's
Yeah.
that's only for my stream.
Yeah, always-
Gotta sag the exchange.
Always
you
play
know
king
that, and I don't know
b1,
that.
knight f5. I don't know that
I have a lot of rules, but yeah,
The
okay.
9-year-old knows.
Okay, f4, roar. Okay, now you guys all know, so I won't even mention it. I'll barely mention it in passing. You all know Aronian Anand from Vikon's Day 2013. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, this is similar. When Anand went like that, sort of like Rotterdam Rubinstein, from 1913 maybe.
You don't know.
And then when the game ended, Anand said this is like Rotterdam Rubinstein. Okay, it was 17. And then in the Aronian game with Anand from 2013, the bishop and rook never moved. Never. And the game was like 20-some moves, and you got mate at Aronian. This is very similar. Queen D1, setting up for the next game. Good job, Aronian. Okay. Rook D8 attacking the queen. The queen moved. Rook takes, knight A3, rook D3, roar, and rook D1. Okay, and this is the most spectacular move of the game, which Archer's already shown. It was in class on Monday. Everybody suggested the wrong move, then you suggested the right move, but don't tell them. Don't tell them. You already know. So here Black played a very spectacular move, confusing the audience. Confusing Aronian. Now, you can't say Aronian didn't move his knight this game because he went to A3. That's good defense of the king. Good job.
Pawn takes pawn.
Yeah, G takes F2.
Ugh. Giving your rook away. Terrible.
Yeah, there's no follow up.
Okay, these pieces are attacking the king. These pieces are not. What would Morphy do? You already know the
Is
answer.
it deflection? Is that a
Ugh. Get those pieces involved. Attack the king with those two pieces in one move. Gets them both involved. You with the wrong answer.
No, just
Yeah, I was right.
Get the rook and the queen involved?
That's a bishop.
you
Oh,
get
get the bishop and the rook
Yeah.
involved.
Probably like Indian dialect, it's a rook.
Bishop C4.
Exactly. What's that?
Wait, no.
You're close. You've never been so close. I can't give you more hints. I've given you enough.
bishop D5.
Now you're talking. Now, Black has some threats because I said so. Like Queen E4 check. That's a threat and a half, plus tax. So when all your opponent's pieces are on the queen's side, it's a good time to attack the king. But not very Kramnik-like. Not at all. Okay. He played F3, breaking my rule.
Never play F2.
Never play F3. Let's look at the only variation that matters. Takes, gotta play F3 here. Takes. Threatening F2 with a slight advantage. Very slight. Very serious class. Like one laugh, the other four like, yeah, it's slight. Okay. Now, if rook E3, so I can show you a great variation. Check, mate. The truth hurts. Okay. So he played F3. Take, so they could get to that variation now, but he took the bishop. But rook takes rook, queen E4 transposes. Okay. Threatening queen G2 mate and queen H2 mate with advantage. So white played.
Resigns.
No, he stopped them both. He's 2800.
Everyone.
Rook E1. Stopping them both. And black resigned because he lost his queen. They didn't fall for that. Yeah. They didn't fall for banana in the tailpipe. So G2 check. Okay, now, white resigned here, confusing the class. If king G1, one of the two legal moves, check, and then checkmate, confusing the class. But it is checkmate. It says so. See?
Check.
Yeah.
King has to move. Yeah. There's no way to go.
Notice it's checkmate. No? Nobody?
Yeah.
Okay, so Aronian didn't like that variation. The other variation is king H2, and now you sacrifice a queen, sort of. I'm sort of sacrificing it. Notice it's double check. King H3 is no good, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you have to take. And now it's the same mate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if king G2, it's the same mate. And then if Nakamura was playing, after king H2, he'd make a knight, which I've analyzed as being a draw. I put the computer on it. However, taking this is slightly better for black. Okay, this is like one of my games on my Twitch thing where I'm playing like a 100. Okay, so after G2 check, Aronian resigned. Yeah, very un-Kramnik-like.
Great game.
Yeah, Kramnik like rook G8, G5, rawr. Yeah, and as per usual, Aronian, yeah, no good. Yeah. Okay, so that was that game. And then there were lots of draws. Some of them were crazy. Like Grischuk Ding is the craziest game in chess history, and they drew. Okay, this was the game of the round, except nobody cared about it because of all the other games. Okay, Kramnik Caruana is the game of the century. Probably that's the most interesting game ever played. But this game was played the same round, and nobody cared. Okay, so they played a well-known piece sack, which is not well-known to any of you, but you'll see. I'll show you the piece sack. Knight takes f7. Bam. That's what Karen would do. Okay, and then he says, I have compensation for a piece. Okay, so they played, and the computer said black is slightly better the whole game. Then they got 700 passed pawns. The game got totally insane. The computer said they played pretty well. Even though, like, every piece is hanging. And this is actually a draw, and they actually played well. I like this move. Both queens are hanging, and the rook is hanging, and there's 4 passed pawns. Now, just to, like, also you have to watch out for queen h3 mate at the right moment, because the bishop is pinning here. So you got to be careful. Got to watch it. Especially after queen takes rook. Yeah. Now, man. King h2, avoiding all mates. So this is like the craziest chess game ever played, and it ended in a draw, which the computer said was correct. And then you have a boring draw. Yeah. And then they agreed to a draw. Okay. King takes pawn, etc. So that was an amazing game. But that wasn't the game of the round. That was nothing. The game of the century is probably this one. Probably. Now, I made fun of this game when they were playing it. I was doing my stream, and I was like, this is a boring draw. These players are the worst. Then they both gave all their pieces away and got 12 passed pawns. Then the computer said white's winning, black's winning, white's winning, black's winning, white's winning, black's winning, draw, black's winning. Then there's a famous picture on the internet, which you've all seen. I always get mad when, no culture here, where Kramnik's crying at the board after he blundered. You ever see that picture?
No.
Yeah, it's a great picture. Caruana left, and he's at the board by himself, and he just blundered, and and John Bartholomew wrote, "We've all been there." Man, that's a great picture. Did you find it on your phone yet? Are you not looking?
Karen's on it.
Yeah, find Kramnik crying at the board. Wow, what a great picture that is. Man, the truth hurts. Yeah. Now, Kramnik is slightly overconfident. So, like, when they did the press conference, he's like, I was always winning. But he was always losing. So, he was losing more than he was winning. Okay? And when he was winning, he wasn't really winning. When he was losing, he was really losing. So, like, computers like, Fabiano's winning, +3, +4, +5. Then he would mess it up, and they would say equal, or Kramnik's a little better, and then 50 passed pawns, and so forth. So, when the game started, I was, like, making fun of the game. And so did Nigel Short. So, after that last round, Nigel's like, Kramnik is the greatest genius who ever lived. Then this game, he's like, Kramnik's taking a break today. He's like putting his slippers on and smoking his pipe and reading the paper. Because in the opening, he played the most boring way you can play. Then the mood all changed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I did the same thing. Couldn't find it.
Okay.
I'm sure it's on Twitter.
So they got a Petrov. And he played Queen E2, which is the boring line where you trade queens. Now he did something I'd never seen. They always play D3 and trade queens. Played Knight C3. And they traded everything. So this is like the most boring thing ever. Right? This is ridiculous. Okay, but then it wasn't. Yeah, this isn't how you play for a win. Okay. And basically Kramnik went insane. Which is good for us. So you see this G-pawn? That G-pawn is gonna have a good life. Takes, check, takes. And he didn't take that. He played C5, confusing the audience. Man, that G-pawn's looking good. Okay, so this is just winning for black. Man, that's a good G-pawn. Ow. And he's like, yeah, whatever, I'll take that C-pawn. I'll get some passed pawns. Yeah. Okay, so black's up a piece. And he plays this move. This is really exciting. So white played D7. If white plays here, this is fascinating. To me, you guys won't care. I go here.
Oh.
Now, obviously, if you take my rook, I queen. Your rook has nowhere to go. If you go to c1, I take it. If you go to h1 or f1, I take it. If you leave it there, I take it and queen. And if you go to either e1 or g1, I play knight f3 attacking it. And you can't take my pawn because there's a back rank mate. That's like a weird, so this is funny, rook a d8. He ignores his rook and attacks the d pawn. And Kramnik's like, I got your d pawn right here. Now, many years ago, and you can find it on the St. Louis videos and before that, I called the d pawn the Kramnik passed d pawn, because in many games when Kramnik's white, he has a passed d pawn. I don't know why, and here it is. So when other people have said that's the Kramnik passed d pawn, and now there it is. Kramnik's like, yeah, I got my Kramnik passed d pawn. Okay, and Caruana's like, I have an extra knight. So, okay, and he took his pawn, and the computer says black's winning, but it's very tricky because a lot of pawns over here. Okay. And in this position, yeah, a Caruana blundered. So there's 6 passed pawns. I almost counted them right. And black should obviously play rook takes c2, taking one of the pawns and attacking the bishop.
So?
Just go there. Okay, but Caruana didn't do that. He played h6 defending his bishop. And now rook here. So now, if I go rook here, your bishop's defending it, so you're not scared. But you should be scared, because I can take your bishop.
Exactly.
Yeah, so if you play rook takes c2, there's no more back rank mate. I can't take your bishop now, because back rank mate. So if you take on c2, there is no back rank mate, so I can take the bishop and play rook c8, and you're like, oh, that pawn is pretty good. Okay, so he played king g7, because Caruana is my student. Because you saw my game with Caruana, so you know he's my student. And you know you move your king up in the endgame. Rawr! Okay, king on h8 is no good. Okay, and good job, Caruana. Okay, but white has a lot of passed pawns, and has a lot of passed pawns. A lot of passed pawns. Yeah. Okay, so everybody's queening their pawns. Everybody's happy.
Jeez.
Yeah. Confusing the audience. Yeah. What a crazy game. And he played this move, which the computer doesn't like. It plays bishop c6, I think. It gives like the craziest variation ever where nobody understood what was going on and it says equal. And then they turned alpha 0 off. They're like, too hard. Okay, so rook here takes, attacks the bishop. He wants to take the bishop and then queen. So he's like, no. And he gives his rook away. Now, I can take the rook, and you can't take my rook because it's pinned. But if I play king here, I'm threatening your rook 2 different ways. You agree?
Yeah.
And I'm threatening mate.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So he played queen. Takes, takes. Now you're not threatening the mate. He distracted it. Okay. So he's like, no, I'm going to mate you. Yeah. And he's like, now I'm going to take the bishop and you won't mate me. Okay. Then he does a, what's that called, skewer? Okay. And they get this position, which should be a draw. And is this where he blundered? No. Check. And I think this is where he blundered. No, this isn't where he blundered either. Okay, knight f3. Yeah, yeah. So this position is a draw, but I forgot why. Let's see. Rook takes f6 and bishop f1. Always play bishop f1. So the draw is rook takes, knight takes, bishop f1, h2, rook h6. And black's better, but it should be a draw. Okay. And instead he played rook d1, triple question mark. Now, this pawn wants to queen, and this rook is stopping it. And this rook really can't stop it, because I can block that rook whichever way I want. So he got rid of this rook.
Rook a1.
Yep, check, and he took it. And then I play h2, h1. The truth hurts. after that long battle, the H pawn's gonna queen. Wow. Although the D pawn did queen. Yeah. So he played bishop A6, so he could stop the pawn from queening. If he plays king takes rook, I play H2, and I queen. Yeah. And I think this position or this one of these positions is Kramnik has his head down at the board and empty, like here, and then Caruana's already left. Yeah. Like, you know, like congratulating himself. Yeah. Okay, so rook D2 check, and now he just played on for no reason. I mean, now black's just a piece up for nothing, and black had, and he played on a long time here, considering this is incredibly resignable. Yeah, okay, and he resigned here. Yeah, but the picture is the best part of the game of Kramnik like crying. And the engine's like, you're winning, you're winning, you're winning, you're winning, everybody's queening. Chess is hard. And a friend of mine in Michigan, who's a senior master, wrote, who doesn't play chess anymore, he wrote, this game reminds me how hard tournament chess is. So Kramnik won that brilliant game, the one I just showed you, against Aronian. Then he lost this game, and then he lost to Mamedyarov the next day. So the truth hurts. Chess is hard. Okay, the Mamedyarov game is funny because, here's why it's funny. In this position, let me get to the position. Is this it? Yeah. So this is equal, the computer says so. And they started repeating, always repeat. Knight A5, threatening knight C4, he stops it. Knight C6, threatening the D4 pawn, and now they can repeat. And draw. And Kramnik's like, I don't want to draw. Rawr. So he played like he was insane and he lost. Yeah. And then he was like, 6 moves later, he's dead lost. He played H5. And then, man, Mamedyarov was pushing his pawns on him. H4's no good. Yeah, now black just lost. Like, black can't move anything. Yeah. And then Mamedyarov's technique was very suspicious, but it didn't matter. Yeah. And white's just up material with more pawns. And yeah. Okay, and the game took a long time, but he eventually won. But yeah, they could have repeated, and Kramnik's like, no, I'm going to lose. That's what happens sometimes. Yeah. The truth hurts. Now, so beat Aronian, and Svidler said this was the greatest game ever. Okay, it's really boring game for you guys, because he slowly won. However, if you want to learn how not to resign, Aronian will teach you. Wow, Aronian, that's almost insulting what Aronian did. He played on like 20 moves too long against So. I was like, wow, he's not resigning. It was getting embarrassing. It was like my games when I played in there. So the reason this game was so good, it was a Ruy Lopez and they didn't do anything. But then, okay, so white sacrificed a pawn. Okay, it's not clear why. White's down a pawn here. And you're like, well, the knight's no good, the rook is no good. Black's pieces are sort of no good. And, you know, this is a good rook, a good knight, everything's good. And here, So played rook A2, and I was like, what? Rook A2? What world am I in? What's the play? Queen A1? I don't know. Then he played B3, and he just blocked up the queen side. And then bishop D8, you can see black's pieces are, you know, very defensive, and he can't do anything. Okay, so the crux of the game, and actually, to point this out, king H8's a really bad move. It loses the tempo and puts the king on a worse square. That in this position, computer said it's about equal, white's a little better. Then here it said white's winning. So that's terrible. Okay. And so it's basically a masterpiece by white because he's down a pawn the whole game. Then he plays E5. Wow. Okay, now E5, if you take the pawn, I threaten checkmate because I said so.
Yeah.
And who won this game? I said so.
Yeah.
And also, knight takes E6 is also a threat. The truth hurts. Okay, so he didn't fall for that. And now, shocking everybody in the room except Archer, white played. Only Archer would play this move. Good move, too. Sort of an obvious, the tactic is obvious. You with the Archer.
94.
Yeah, he's Archer, so he's right. Yeah. Notice the rook's attack because I said so. Knight takes E6 is okay, and you can't take the knight because it's pinned. White's pieces are just beautiful, all on the right squares. Black's pieces, like, why is the rook on b5? Why is your bishop sucking so much? Why is this e-pawn so weak? What's that?
That rook was just
He
stuck.
was
all the way.
defending the knight. Yeah. Okay, now, Archer, before the hand releases from c8, takes the rook. But not so. Takes the pawn. He's like, your rook sucks. That guy said so. Now, if you take the rook, I take with the pawn, and then my pawns are pretty reasonable. Yeah, that now White's pretty reasonable. Yeah. Rawr. He's still down a pawn. But Black's rook is still terrible on b5. Okay, so eventually he says, all right, I've had enough. And he plays c4. He's like, I can't have my rook here the whole game. Horrible. Then he plays c4 and gets his rook out. Also, maybe c3. Right. Takes. Rook e6, and the queen is trapped, confusing the audience. And he lost his queen. If you played the obvious move, anybody?
Queen f7.
Queen f7, then the truth hurts.
There it is.
Man, queen e4 is coming. Wow. Man, I like White's pieces better than Black's pieces. Yeah. Okay, so he played queen g5, sacking his queen, and so's like, all right, I'll be a queen up. I like that. Notice the bishop's attacking the queen. Okay. So he has two pieces for a queen, and he has two passed pawns. And so had perfect technique. And here, I'm sorry, when I say he has two pieces, he has a rook and a piece for a queen. But this forks the two pieces. So that didn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now, like, I would play knight e5 all day, but you lose the piece anyway.
Yeah.
I just keep attacking your knight, you can't move anymore. So he just gave it up, which is what the computer said. Then he said, look at my passed pawns. Look at me. I have passed pawns. Rawr. Okay. He does have passed pawns, he's right. Always repeat. Always repeat. Good job. Good job, Aronian. Or so. Then he takes, confusing the audience, and Black wins a piece. But it's just dead lost. And what's funny is, Black lost his pawn really quickly, which surprised me. Check, check, check. Bam! That's the end of that pawn. And then there's no resigning, ever. Which I'm like, man, you gotta resign here. This is getting suspicious. Yeah. This guy's 2,800. Yeah, not resigning here is weird. This is the worst position I ever saw.
Following your rule, though.
Yeah, never resign. Yeah. Okay, here he resigned because he's losing this pawn. Now it's getting embarrassing. Yeah. It's like, all right, 3 pawns, I
4
resign.
queens versus a king.
No, I mean, it's going to be like plus a trillion. It's going to be some number nobody understands. Yeah. It's funny, when we all learned chess, well, not you, but when we all learned chess, you were like a bishop's worth 3 and a knight's worth... So then, like, if you won a rook, you think like, I'm plus 5. Then if you blundered a knight, you're plus 2. Computers don't do that. They're like, oh, so this position, according to the math that we use, is plus 3 for white, right? A queen's a pawn more than a rook and a bishop, plus there's 2 pawns extra. But it's going to be a plus 7,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, because computers are like, nah, I see what's going to happen here. It's going to be really bad. Yeah, it's going to be some crazy number. Announcing made in 30.
Did anybody ask Aronian after the game why he didn't resign earlier?
No, you wouldn't do that. You get hit when you do that. So after that game you lost, why didn't you resign earlier? Rawr. Yeah, I have 2 CPUs. With 4 CPUs, it would be like, you know, then with your computer, it would be mate in 30, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Would your thing announce made here or no?
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, you think so?
Long enough, yeah.
If it was made in 30, it would do it?
I'll put the position in and tell
You think it'll announce mate?
Yeah.
His computer's reasonable. So I have 2 cores. Is it a core?
Yeah.
And then I can have 4. If I click this, I can have 4. And you have how many in your computer at work?
24.
That's it? And what does Sess have?
About the same, but it's 2 generations newer hardware.
You or the Sess?
Sess.
Oh, well, come on, man.
George said, GTRI.
Yeah, he's not as dumb as he looks. Seems to be, or best testing indicates. Good Simpsons line there. Yeah. Hey, my computer's not bad on 4 cores now.
Hey,
That usually it's going to mate after that. It's like 52 then mate. It doesn't go to like 90. Yeah. By the way, on an old computer, because it was in 2007 or something, or no, it was 2002. 2002 U.S. Championship. There's a game Saruman Yuri Lapshin, and Lapshin resigned. I'll move like 25. Final position on the computer I had then said plus 163, and material was equal. He resigned. He's like, I resigned. Yeah. Yeah, Saruman really ran him over. Man, that is some running over. Yeah. Go Wesley. Okay. Then draw. Every other game was a draw, including the crazy ones. There were some crazy draws. This is the most boring game ever played. And I don't understand how they didn't agree to a draw for 40 moves. And I think Kramnik was playing on. I think. By the way, I want to go back to show you guys something. Okay. So here, So made a mistake. He played rook takes rook. Now, if you know Karpov Kasparov, or you know Victor versus Jill, Victor and Jill. Yeah, same idea. I mean, if you know Victor and Jill, there's something wrong with you. Karpov Kasparov in a Grunfeld that Karpov won with White World Championship. This is the idea that he played, but it was slightly more obvious in the Karpov game. Now, John Nunn, right, smart guy, he would call this a collinear move. What's the right move for White? Missed by So. He missed it. He obviously missed it. If he didn't miss it, he would have played it. Collinear. Do you guys know what that is? I've discussed it every lecture ever. It's when two pieces that are the same, like bishops, rooks, queens, one moves towards the other without capturing it. Those are hard for humans to see. Like you move towards the guy's piece but don't take it. That's weird. So humans don't see that. You. Yeah, rook c6. Rook c6 is a good move, recommended by me. Because you're attacking the queen's defending the bishop, and if you do this, man, I got something going here. Look, and it doesn't say it's winning, but it's better for White. Rook takes rook is not better for White. This is just drawn. This is nothing. And then it was really drawn. Then it was like super drawn. So here, they're repeating moves, and Black plays for the win. Here? What? If I was White, I'd play for a win, because maybe I'll take on f7 when he falls asleep. If it's Black, I can't play for the win. I don't know how to play for a win. With White, I do. I take on f7. Or I take on b6. How does Black win ever? But obviously, Black was playing for the win. h5, rawr. So he played for the win in dead drawn position forever. And I was like, wow, how do you play for a win? And he was. He's like making sure the game's not a draw. Like Black's avoiding trades and defending his b-pawn. So he must have been really mad from those 2 games in a row he lost. So they played forever and ever and ever and ever, and eventually agreed to a draw like in a million moves. But nothing happened. So, but obviously Black was playing for the win. I was like, wow, Black's playing for the win. Yeah. Anyway, they drew. So that's fair. Now, Wesley So lost the first 2 rounds. He had Black both games. And since then, he's been fine, just drawing. He won a game. So, okay. And then I want to show you how this game was drawn because it was funny. And then I'll tell you how aggressive the commentators are when they're not playing. When they are playing, so the youngster's like, I don't understand. Why didn't he do this? Okay. So in this position, notice how your pawn's attacked. What are the 2 ways to defend it?
King f2, queen f2.
Right. So the game ended as a super grandmaster game should end. Queen f2, he attacks the c pawn. Queen c2, attacks the g pawn, etc. And draw. That's how the game ended today. This is today's game. Okay, like 2 of the craziest chess players ever with this. Well, this position's crazy. Doubled pawns everywhere, h5, g5, then draw. And Yasser's like, I don't understand. Why doesn't he just play king f2 and the game goes on? Now, there's nothing wrong with king f2, but he's like, come on, king f2, you can't play no draw. And I was like, wow, Yasser's like king f2 because he's not playing. I think if Yasser was playing, he might not play king f2, but that's me. Yeah. And then Eric Hansen was agreeing, yeah, why are you drawing when you could play king f2 and defend your pawn? Okay. Computer says it's equal. It says like h4, and the queen's coming to g3, but yeah. And then they're like, Grischuk's had a lot of crazy games, and so is Mamedyarov, so they took a break. First they played crazy, then they took a break. Yeah. King f2 is okay, but this seems safer to not move your king to f2. What do I know? Okay, and then the other 3 games were ongoing. Let's see what happened. Here. Ooh, Wesley lost. That means he blundered, because it was a draw when we stopped looking. That's Karyakin's first win of the tournament. Round what, 7? Okay, so this is just a draw. Look at this position, how drawn it is. Right here. And somehow white was up a knight. So the computer says knight b2, king e2, repeating. That's surprising. And he played knight d6, which looks okay. Yeah, and white's better. White has a better rook and a better knight and a better king. See how white moved his king up and this king is here? Probably Wesley thought everything drew, so just play safe. But knight b2 check was probably better. Wow, he lost this position? Wow. This is all zeros. He lost this position? Man. That's funny, rook ch just a dead draw if he plays there. Because the knight has nowhere good to go. Okay, so he played here. I think Wesley must have relaxed. He thought, oh, this is an easy draw. Because he lost it pretty quickly. Wow, all zeros, and he lost in like 6 moves. Aha, 51 minutes to 2. Oh, 51's because he made time control. So Wesley's in time trouble, but they have 30 seconds to move. Played the right move. Wow, he must have blundered a piece. Oh, he did blunder, king e8. So rook c7's all zeros. And he played king e8, which is a blunder. King b6. Wow, he trapped his own rook. King b7 wins the rook. That's crazy. Wow. You can't play king d7 because I play rook here and I come in. Yeah. He didn't see king b6. Always move your king up. Rawr. So here if he plays rook c7, the rook can go to d7 and it's never, ever, ever, ever trapped. And this move traps his rook more because he can't play rook e8. Wow, he didn't see king b6 as he was in time trouble. h3. And he just gives his knight away. Wow. He just lost here. So in this position, okay. So in this position, this is just genius what he did. I'm realizing it now. He played rook a2 defending his pawn, but actually he's threatening rook f2.
Well, that was my question.
Right.
Why didn't he do it earlier?
Well, he just played it, so he can't play it now.
Right.
Okay, then here threatening his knight.
Oh.
Defended his knight. Now he wants to play rook f2, so Wesley played king e8 to get out of the pin. But if he plays rook c7, and then rook f2, now we play rook f7. Yeah, and it just says all zeros. Yeah. So if he played rook c7, he would have drawn. And he just blundered in time trouble and played king e8. He's like, yay, I stopped this move winning my knight, but he trapped his rook. Wow. And he trapped his knight. Now his knight's trapped. Incredible. He can't play king f8, so his rook can get out to e8, because then rook f2 again. He can't go here, so his rook has an escape square, because I pin your knight. So it looked like a dead draw, but he had some issues, and he couldn't solve them in time trouble. And actually the computer plays knight takes e5 here, but that's ridiculous. Wow, his knight's trapped, his rook's trapped, and his king's trapped. And the difference is, this king looked up the board, and that king's on the first row.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I just lost in time trouble. Wow, terrible. And then Aronian lost to Caruana, so Karen's happy. It looks like white's winning. Look at all white's pieces near black's king. And white resigned. Man, chess is hard.
Wow.
Plus 19. So black's up a pawn. Black has 2 connected center pawns, and black's threatening rook h6, winning all of white's pieces. That wins every white piece. Man, the truth hurts. Wins all of them. No. Then if you play rook h7 check, I play king takes bishop. That's a funny move.
So what are the current standings?
Nobody knows. So Fabiano beat Levon with black. So Levon's lost like 7 games in a row. I'm kidding, but he's lost a lot of games. And then Nakamura gave it to Levon on the internet. Nakamura said, man, Levon's really good, but in this tournament, he always fails. The candidates term, he always does terrible. Hey, the standings are supposed to be here. Where are the standings? What? Oh, I have to click this. I have to click something? So Mamedyarov drew in 16 moves, if you remember. Fabiano won. Grischuk drew with Mamedyarov. Karyakin won his first game. Kramnik drew again. Oh no, Kramnik's still playing Liren. And Wesley lost, and Levon lost. Boo! Okay, so there's one game left. Ding had a big advantage, and now it says it's a draw. This is a draw? Really? Ding's not going to win this? I don't know. Computer says it's a draw, so it's right, yeah? But I don't know. Practically speaking, black might win. Black has a queen. Yeah. By the way, Ding has 6 draws. This is round 7. He's going for the Geary prize. They've already made that joke several times. Yeah. I'll teach him. Yeah. Ding's playing really well this term. He's had almost no bad positions. Kramnik and Aronian and so winning and losing every game. Yeah. Okay, so I don't know what's going to happen this game. I wouldn't be surprised if black wins. Computer would be surprised. But I want to see how Fabiano won against Levon. That was a crazy, crazy, crazy game. Okay, let's download PGN so we can see the game in for real. Because the beginning was crazy. Here it is. Okay. So they played this normal opening where black takes a pawn, and then he gets it back. And now here, everybody takes on d4, and Levon's like, rawr, e5, instead of just taking the pawn back, and just plays down a pawn. And plays very aggressive. Very aggressive. Wow. He plays crazy g4. Computer doesn't play g4. No. And then he plays f4. Raw, you got to win these games. You can't win the tournament. Now, for those of you who are confused, which is most of you, let me explain game strategy to you because I'm a grandmaster. Confusing the mathematicians and computer scientists in the crowd. So, this is seen more in poker tournaments than in chess tournaments. This is the one chess tournament that's a poker tournament. If you play in 100 poker tournaments and you win one and come in 100th in the other 99, doesn't sound good, does it? Your friend comes in 7th in all 100 of them. You got that? You probably won more money than him. They pay you to win in poker tournaments. They don't care if you came in 7th. They're like, here's $50. When you win the poker tournament, then they're serious. So in poker tournaments, you have to win the tournament. You're not trying to cash. Bad players are trying to cash. The top players are trying to win. Because if you win a poker tournament, you can retire. If you come in 7th, you made some money. If you come in 100th, you got knocked out immediately, now you can play cash games. If you come in like 12th, you wasted like 2 days and won like $50. Now in chess, coming in 3rd like 10 times, as opposed to coming in 1st 1 time and missing the money 9 times, I take the 3rd. However, this tournament, you got to win it. You have to win it. You guys understand why, right? You have to win it. Mm-hmm. If you win this tournament, potentially it's worth millions. You play a world championship match with Carlsen if you win this tournament. If you win that match, you get another world championship match, so you just millions every time you play. This tournament, first prize like $150,000, they can throw that in the garbage. But the world championship, you don't throw that in the garbage. Okay? So you have to win this tournament. Therefore, when you have -1 or -2, you can't draw games and get back in it and come 50%. So if you're like, why is Levon playing G4, F4? That's why. You have to win the tournament. Okay? Why is Kramnik playing insane? You have to win the tournament. If you come in 2nd, you don't play Carlsen in November. That's different than other tournaments where they don't go insane. Here they're going insane. Who's not going insane? Ding. Draw, 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 draw.
This is his first candidates, right?
Yeah.
He's the highest rated Chinese player?
He is. Yeah. It's close though.
He's learning a lot.
They have 6 players over 2,700 FIDE. Okay, so Levon goes crazy. Roar. And Caruana's like, whatever. I don't care. Just crazy game. And then when we left, when we started the class, Aronian had just played King H3, confusing everybody. Sarawan, Eric Hansen, me, you guys. King H3, wow. Okay, now obviously he doesn't want his king on the diagonal with the bishop. This diagonal also has a bishop. Doesn't want to play King G1 because he wants his rook to come help. So King H3, there you go. Very suspicious. All right, Queen E7, rawr. Okay, and then Aronian followed my rule. Go Aronian. Bam. It's only a rule for my streams, but he still followed it. It's good. I think he's going to lose the exchange anyway, so he's like, all right. Okay, now he went insane in the membrane. I can't believe this is a good move. I was wrong. It's one of the best. He's just lost, but he played knight takes f7. Wow. And queen takes f7 is equal, but he played rook takes winning. That's why he's 2,800. And then he played rook f6, which is not recommended, but still. And now g7's a draw. Wow. Potzer c check, Potzer play check. Queen h4 is a draw, according to the engine. Bishop makes no sense. White's down a rook. White's mating black. White has 2 connected pass pawns up there. But the computer says it's a draw, so he's right. So he played this check, and now he's totally losing.
Mike Comer's move, right?
What's that?
Mike Comer's move. See a check play.
Yeah. Now, if you try to repeat, always repeat, then e4. Man, the truth hurts. So he just blundered this check, and he's just lost. Yep, and he resigned here, I think. Yeah. Yeah, he's out of everything. If you check here, I take. If you check here, that's the end of you. Yeah, that doesn't help. And this is a big, big, big threat. If you play this move, for example, and I take, and you guys think it's mate, see how it's mate? Right? Mate. You don't take the rook, you go here. Now it's also mate, but black's mating white. Okay. Wow. That bishop c4 check, what a blunder. It went from equal to like resigns by playing a check. That king on h7 was pretty good. Much better than on g8, h7 check is always happening. But on h7, nothing's happening. Wow, what a blunder. Probably time trouble. That's very important. Not for Aronian so much, but for Fabiano. He's now in clear first, 5 out of 7. And a lot of people, and I'm going to tell you a secret that you should all know, but class. A lot of people think Caruana that's who they want to play Carlsen. That's the best matchup. You know who else said that? Carlsen. On Twitter yesterday said, I hope Caruana wins. That's my strongest opponent. I hope he wins the tournament. And even though it sounds like trash talking, I think the 2 people who were going to win yesterday, who could win, were Mamedyarov and Caruana because they're tied for first. And unfortunately, for the chess world, Mamedyarov doesn't do well against Carlsen. He doesn't do well. He gets crushed every game. And Caruana does fine against Carlsen. Caruana's beaten Carlsen many times. But Mamedyarov, man, he's getting beat by Carlsen. Now, the other player who does well against Carlsen isn't playing in the tournament.
Naka.
What? That was very deadpan. Yeah. Deadpan joke. Yeah. No, Anish Giri. Giri has a good score against Carlsen. Yeah. But he's not playing the tournament. And a player who has a great score against Carlsen, but he's nowhere near as good as these guys, is Nadich from Germany, or is he still in Germany? I think he's 2-0 against him. But he's not in the tournament, so. Yeah. And also, if they played a match, he would lose every game. It's outlier. Yeah. Yeah. Wow, look at this position. Looks like this king's in trouble, but this king's in trouble. Man.
That's crazy.
Yep. Yeah, this king's safe. It's hiding behind white's pieces. See, if this pawn wasn't here, then yeah. Yeah, you always want your king in front of your opponent's pawn. That's always good. Then they can't do anything about it. If it was your pawn, they would take it. They can't take their own pawn. Yeah. Wow, what a blunder. Bishop c4 check. And this, what position was it? This position. So queen h4 is a draw, and this is plus 1,000 for black. Man, time trouble's tough. This looks really bad too, because this king looks terrible here, and because I can always play h7 check, and here you can't do anything. Like there, the king is perfectly safe. Wow. Pawns are helping. Well, Levon tried, and he failed miserably. The lesson is...
Never try.
Never try. Very good. Somebody watches The Simpsons. All right, and as Gene Wilder likes to say...
Class is...
Dismissed.